Today, on this episode, I'm going to be continuing the series that I've started where I cover basic emotions. And today it's going to be about sadness and depression. And I think it's safe to say no one really likes to be sad. Sadness is like an active version in depression. Almost to me seems like it's more of a prolonged sadness. It's a long-term version of sadness. And I wonder, could you imagine what it would be like if we didn't have emotions? That's really what makes us humans, and it's not just humans that have emotions. Animals for sure have emotions too, but it's a part of our wiring that makes us the way that we are. And sadness is sadness is a rough one to deal with, because you could be kind of sad in the moment, and but depression is the real interesting one, because depression, I'm lucky. I don't normally deal with prolonged depression. I've had periods in my life where just nothing is right. My life was just in chaos, and my relationships were in chaos, and it was prolonged depression. It was just like 2 or 3 years of just like crap, but not like downward spiral depression. Like if you were bipolar, I've never experienced like that deep depression, and to live and sulk in that. I've only gotten like a little taste, and like I said, those few years that I was dealing with was horrible. I don't ever want to go back to being in that state. But how do you get through that? And from what I've gathered, and maybe this will point someone in the right direction, you almost have to just do it. If you're sad, and this can go along with anger as well. If you feel the energy of the emotion, you just have to like let it go and let it flow through you. And sadness certainly falls under that. And just if you feel like you gotta cry, then cry. Crying is like hitting a pressure relief valve. You got all this pressure and tension building up, and crying, and it's almost like that's so. If you feel like you need to cry, then I don't. I'm not the most manly alpha male guy, but I'm not afraid to cry. But it's none of your business, and it's. There's nothing wrong with crying. And actually, when I see other men who are badasses and they're just role models, and it makes me feel less of a puss when you see like a manly man cry it out. You don't want to be whimpering over every little thing, but life can really beat you down to the ground, and it's like one thing after another. It's always something. It's always that boom, 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 and you never get out of this hole. So yeah, just to deal with the emotions, you just have to like let it go, just cry. And man, you'd be surprised. I know every person who's lived ever has felt this. Like a good cry. It doesn't have to be in front of everybody, just like by yourself, like hands over your face, overbearing. Just cry. And you're really like, you're regurgitating, you're vomiting up like these negative emotions, and you feel instantly lighter after that. Instantly lighter. Sadness is it sucks. Sadness, and depression's what really sucks. Again, it's that long-term downward spiral that you want to try to stay away from, and some people aren't that fortunate. Some people just have a real chemical imbalance, and depending on the situations that they had grown up in and their upbringing, some people are just wired to be in that state of mind always, and it's terrible. It's terrible, and it's not It's not pleasant, but you need to be able to get through that. Just if you could, you could see it a mile away. You could tell, like, all right, this is bothering me. This is bothering me. All right, I feel like I need to cry and let it out. And then you kind of like gather your thoughts and reevaluate. And then you just move on, even if it takes multiple times of that. And I'm just using crying as an example because it doesn't necessarily have to be that. But I look at emotions like, let's see if I can do this without dropping this mic. I look at emotions like if you have a ball of not liquid but semi-liquid, semi-solid, where it's almost like slime. If you're making a ball of it, right? You got an imaginary ball, and you got a little bit of anger here, so you try to pick that up. But now on the opposite side, you got a little bit of sadness, so you got to catch it here, and it's this constant. With life, you want to be balanced. That's the goal, and it's not easy, but it's almost a physical metaphor of constantly trying to, and then you get small and you get it to like snow sort of state, and you pack it down and you squish it, and then something will happen where it'll completely break that cycle, and then you get back to this slimy puddle of crap, and you're constantly trying to keep it balanced and keep it. But the key is it's always, until the day you die, it's always going to be, there's always going to be a battle. There's always going to be a fight. There's always going to be something that is in the way, because whenever you succeed, whenever you accomplish something, that's just not how life works. Something will come right around the corner that's going to kick you in the ass, and go through the the standard stages of grieving and just getting through it. It's never ending. The trick is don't allow yourself to get into these prolonged periods of depression, and sometimes you need to just be an asshole to yourself and say, I'm not doing this. I'm not doing this. Whatever, I need to get out of the house, go for a walk, or go hang out with people, or do something that I enjoy. And just, even if you're not enjoying it, just to force yourself, because once you get the momentum is the hardest part about all this. It's once you get the momentum and the forward motion, then it starts to pick up a little bit quicker and a little bit quicker. So the idea of doing things a little bit each day, like hack ahead away, a little bit each day, a little bit each day, a little bit each day, that's the goal. And that's my ultimate conclusion with all these emotions that I've been covering is, they all have their different effects. They all have their, reverse and opposite effects of other emotions. And you want to realize that, and you want to almost have a visual representation in your head, like I was doing with the ball, and look at your life, evaluate your life, and see where you fit on this scale. Lately I've been pretty content, pretty content, with the occasional ups and downs, but all in all, I mean, life is good. Life is good. I'm not saying that I couldn't improve more, and you can't improve more, but man, I've got it pretty good, and I've always had it pretty good. I had a really good upbringing, and a spectacular father, very warm and loving mother, good parents who cared about their kids. And one thing I will give my parents credit is I was just allowed to just be a kid. I had a perfect nest, and there was not much outside influence affecting me as a small child. I was just allowed. I was given a stable home, a nice home, and I don't really remember too much fighting. I mean, my parents ended up divorcing, but relatively good, stable upbringing, and that really obviously is going to affect how you are as an adult. So yeah, I can't complain about too much. So this is the goal. I hope this can put someone on the right track. If you're needing to look for advice, if you're in a downward spiral right now and you're looking for, it also helps to have another person tell you. You can think all you want, but if you have someone else, like a third person, from a third person perspective, give you that same information, it's like you almost need to hear from someone else. So I'm going to wrap it up there. I hope you've enjoyed it. Please consider subscribing if you did enjoy this, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.